Chill out, you're overreacting. Hello, did you miss me? So this is a video that I've seen through the years in booktube. It isn't something that is in fashion, but I'd say that almost everyone sooner or later makes this video. And I'm talking about the popular books that I didn't like video. I named it Popular Books That I Hated in the title because I am a drama queen. Not really, I just wanted to get more views. The first book is The Unbecoming of Dyer. This is a YA paranormal in which we follow Dyer, and some unexplainable things are happening in her life. For example, she was the only survivor of a building collapsing on top of her head, and she was with 3 other people, and she came out of it without a single scratch. In my opinion, the first book is too much of a cliche. It is like a merge of Mean Girls and Twilight. At one point, the protagonist literally says that she would die without her lover, and this is Noasha. She has very little concern for her mental health. She is having hallucinations and she doesn't want to see anybody for this, and she even gets mad at her mom for worrying about her. Noasha is the typical guy that gets with every girl in the school, even when he's a jerk, and nobody can resist him. He's so cocky, he's always bragging about his conquests, his money, his face, and his British accent. And obviously he starts stalking Dyer. He follows her into a classroom that he's not enrolled in. He even follows her into the girls' bathroom. Most of the book doesn't have a plot at all. Almost at the end, the author is like, oh, I gotta stop pining on Narsha and I gotta introduce some conflict into this. To be honest, the first book was the one that I liked the least. The second was the one that I liked best. And the third one was okay. Talking about Shatter Me, I came to this book while I was looking at booktubers' old recommendations, and that's how I got into the Dyer series also, so I know I gotta stop doing that. Well, I already did, but this happened some time ago. And everybody was saying that this book has beautiful handwriting, and I'm like, that's my jam! But if you think that beautiful handwriting is purple prose and metaphors that you have to read 3 times in order to know what the heck the author was trying to say, the protagonist never made any decisions for herself. She was dragged around by Warner and Adam for most of the book, and she was so annoying. At first she was so boring, and then she became the whiniest adult I've ever seen, and when she was throwing a tantrum she would faint. I couldn't stand her. At the end of book 1 there was a deal breaker that I didn't think much of it. Until book 2 I was like, really? And then in book 3 I was like, I hate the series. If you don't want to get spoiled on the end of the first book or the rest of the saga, I'm gonna leave a timestamp for you to skip ahead. What happens is that Adam and Juliet were kept against their will with Warner, and they escaped, and he was upset because he had feelings for Juliet but he never said so. Stalker alert. And Warner traps Adam, and this is what happens. I'm gonna read a fraction from the book. This is Adam talking to Juliet. They said Warner wanted to kill me himself. He explains that he shot me in the leg on purpose just to disable me. It gave him a chance to drag you away and come back for me later. Apparently, his plan was to torture me to death. He winces. He said he wanted to enjoy it, didn't want to rush through killing me.
Say what?
I have the trilogy in my Kindle, and while I was searching to refresh my memory, I also remembered that Warner tortured Kenji to get some information out of him. I mean, this guy didn't have enough with killing Adam because he took away the love of his life or whatever. He wanted to torture Adam to death. Do you see the magnitude of what I'm saying? After this, I couldn't see him as Warner. I only saw Ramsay Bolton or Geoffrey Baratheon. And then for some reason or another in the third book, they all have to live in the same place, and Adam is not cool with it. I wonder why. I picture him like this: dude, you might be very open-minded, but I don't care about living with someone that wanted to go Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the rest of the characters are like, chill out, you're overreacting. This button suits Warner more. And the worst thing is that nobody talks about Warner's problems, not even Adam, and he was the victim. It's like Tucker and Muffy, the author, was trying to make us forget that Warner used to go Ramsay Bolton on everyone. The next book is The Japanese Lover. In here we follow Alma Velasco through her life, and she has always been very wealthy and she falls in love with the gardener's son. We also follow Irina, which is her assistant in the present day where Alma is an older lady. Nothing makes me hate a book quicker than somebody promising me something and not delivering. And this book was sold as a romance in Audible. In Goodreads it says that it's a romance. And the first sentence of the premise in Spanish is that this is a love story. If this book has more than 5% of romance, that is too much. We mostly follow Alma through her life since she was like 8 until her death, and the worst thing was that I didn't even like Alma. She was a brat, she was inconsiderate, and she was imprudent. A Little Life is a booktube favorite. Those who love it with all their heart, but also hate it with the fury of 1,000 suns. And I love to cry with books, and this is what I signed for, but no. Every time something happened, I was like, oh my god, the author doesn't know what else to write. And this is a character-oriented book, but I never cared about any of them. If somebody died, I was like, okay. I couldn't help but notice that Jude, the protagonist, is a reincarnation of the YA female protagonist that we hated from 10 years ago. If you don't believe me, go to my worst books of 2019 and decide for yourself. I believe this book had very good representation from other communities that I'm not a part of, so I can say firsthand. For example, for the LGBT community, people of color. But I don't think it's a good book for people that have been sexually assaulted or for someone that has physical disabilities, and that is something that I can attest for. I also didn't care for Hopscotch. You can tell very easily that Oliveira thinks that he's the smartest person and the most educated, and you can almost say the same thing for the author. But I'd say that you could be the most intelligent person, but if you don't know when or with who to apply your knowledge, then you're not that smart at all. One of the things that I don't understand is the romanticization of Oliveira's and Lucia's relationship. I think they only had sex and destroyed each other. Oliveira never supported her, not even when she needed him the most, and he slept with other women. He called her stupid, crazy, and she never defended herself. That's the last book for today. The secret phrase is Ramsay Bolton. Write that in the comment section below so that I know that you stuck until the end, and that would make me very happy. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next week with a new video.